so get ready.
Awesome.
You're on.
Oh, it's Wind Down Wednesday. Hi, everybody. Cheers.
Wind down Wednesday, it's 5 o'clock. A nice Chardonnay, little song and small talk. Some of my friends may drop by from just down the block.
Kind of get that Three's Company
So
kind of
it's
vibe.
Wind down Wednesday, it's 5 o'clock.
Yes, it is. And here we are at Wind Down Wednesday. Hi, you guys. I know that it's been kind of sporadic as to when, these things are taking place and stuff, but it was very important that we could get this one together because this handsome fellow here next to me and I have been trying to get him on here for a really long time, and it just so happened that they came up from New Braunfels, Texas, to do some promotion and stuff in town. And so would you please welcome my guest, Mr. Cody Canada.
Hello, everybody.
I think they're doing those little heart things right now.
I hope so.
Heart bubbles
Hopefully
are going
none
up.
of these.
Like, no, none of those are going up. They're actually really kind people. These are nice
Good.
people.
That's my favorite.
So, Cody's going to tell us more about what all is going on in his world right now, but he's a fascinating person and has lots of experience with bands and that kind of thing. But I want you to tell him a little bit about the song you're going to sing for us, to how it
Okay.
starts out.
This is a song from Yukon, Oklahoma. That's where I grew up. I'm actually from Pampa, Texas, but I wasn't there long enough to really say this is where I'm from. I grew up in Yukon, Oklahoma, home of Garth. My sister went to high school with him. And once I took interest in music when I was very young, saw George Strait when I was 4 at a bar with my parents in Oklahoma City, and that was it. I was infected. And
George Strait got you in. That's so
1980,
great.
I saw him at a place called Cowboys. It was right across the street from Doc Severson's, which was where Sleep at the Wheel, like I think they were every other weekend.
Wow.
And my dad is still in the oil field to this day, almost 79, and still working. Stop working, Dad. And
It's time to take a break,
it's
man.
time to enjoy. Bring all the dogs down to New Braunfels. But he took my mom and I to see George Strait. Nobody in the house had ever heard of him. And it was, like I said, it was 1980. And I fell in love. I thought it was George. George Strait was like Sinatra in the cowboy hat. He was so charismatic and still.
He is.
And went home, asked my mom if I could get a guitar. She had a guitar, but she was very stern. It's like, if you're not going to play it, I'm going to sell it. It's like, but I didn't even know you had it. Why do you have it? Well, I never learned how to play it. Oh, so if I don't learn, yeah. So I started learning, and I learned to like some old 50s rock stuff. And I like Rebel Rouser was my first song I learned instrumental and on one string.
Yeah.
And then I took some lessons for a minute. Fast forward several years. Garth hits, parents divorce. Kind of a lost time for me. And then the grunge era happened, and it was just
I get it.
perfect for me. I was angsty and lost, and so were those musicians.
And teeny.
Yeah.
Teenish.
I was 13, yeah, and
Wow.
then for a few years I played around Oklahoma City to who would have me, and I never was taken serious because I was a kid, and then I went to Stillwater, and because I had to get out
Yeah.
of Yukon, because everybody was like, oh, Garth Brooks this, Garth is like,
Oh, wow.
no disrespect to Garth, but I'm not on that path. I want to do something that's
Yeah.
more me. And then I went to Stillwater and found my hippie community of musicians, the Red Dirters, and man, it just changed. It instantly changed
That's so great.
my life because I found a group of people that were
It's your
so
tribe.
they
You
were
found your
so
tribe.
yeah, they were so accepting, and at the time I was 16, and they knew that I was hungry, and they knew that I was lost too.
Yeah.
My sister's gonna make fun of me, but I do cry sometimes. I get nostalgic, and I'm very grateful for all of it.
Arts people, we are all.
Mm-hmm.
It's all kind of right at the edge, right there all the time.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. So I went to Stillwater, and And then Shannon, my wife, and I got married in 98. And then I moved back to Yukon because I wanted to be close to my band, Cross Canadian Ragweed. You know, we had started when I was 17, and we got married when I was barely 22. Moved back to Yukon for about, I don't know, maybe a year. And I looked around going, why am I here? This is doing nothing. I didn't like it when I lived here. And it's nothing against the town. It was just the headspace and there was a couple of adults, my ag teacher, and then
that stuff always taunts you, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's
still to this.
they just know a little bit too much. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what's funny though is, you know, a few years later, I ended up playing the FFA convention, and
That's pretty great.
yeah, it all came back around, you know. But I left. 17 was about Jason Bolin is my friend. He was my best man at my wedding, and my wife was his best man at his wedding.
Is that a thing?
That's
okay,
the thing. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He was getting ready to get married, and he goes, "Well, I have to ask." And I was like, "Oh, it's my turn." And Shannon, will you be my best man? I was like, "Dude,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to? I'll hold the camera, Jason." But him and I were riding a lot together in Stillwater. I met him because I was a local musician in Stillwater every Monday night, and then sometimes Tuesdays, and then eventually every Tuesday night. And he would tip me $10 every Tuesday to play OD in Denver by Hank Jr. And then one night I just asked him, you know, I was like, "What? First of all, I'm impressed that you know that song." And he goes, "What's my favorite song to play?" I was like, "So you're a musician," and that's really kind of just blossomed. And we started writing.
Wow.
We started writing songs almost instantly. And we were in Yukon. This is such a long story. I'm gonna try to make
Yeah,
it
you got almost 400 people already on here, so why don't we play a song?
Shut up and sing, hippie.
That's Doug's role. He keeps it rolling along because
Well-
I'm a storyteller
Oh
too.
man!
So,
So the long story short, I had this old 1970 yellow Chevy pickup truck, and Jason and I had had a few cocktails, and we passed a cop right by the Yukon High School, and on Garth Brooks Boulevard. And Jason goes, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Well, everything about this truck is illegal. No insurance, no muffler, and it's yellow, and every cop in this town knows
it's
it."
yellow.
And I just felt like I was 17, and he said, "You're always 7." He said, "I suppose that you're always 17 in your own town."
Perfect.
So I told him, "Let's write it together, but let's wait till we're not drinking, because that's careless." And
yeah, because no good songs have ever been written while people were imbibing.
right, might be a dab of
Never
sarcasm here. And I wanted to write it with him, but we both had gigs that weekend, and I couldn't hang on to the idea any longer. So I wrote it, and I gave him 50% because, like, without him saying that, the song never would have.
That
Never
stuff
would have happened.
happens.
And,
Yeah.
So I'll
So this is one of the songs that Jeff Hanna was telling me that he loves so much. So you go on, and we'll talk about Jeffrey later.
I'm nervous now.
He's
But,
on the bus.
So the riff I got from the Peanuts.
Oh, you're kidding!
I was learning how to play that, and I was like, "Oh, that's a cool little area." And
Boy,
then-
you sure do. It's different.
So I
so it's
slowed
really,
it down and-
but how cool that you, that you used it. I mean, there's only how many notes? 12? I don't.
there's
That's bad. I don't even know how many notes.
I don't know either.
There's like
I just play-
8, and then there's those black things.
I just I just play something until somebody goes, "That sounds like this song." It's like, well, back to the drawing board.
Okay, well, or just I'm going up here.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
All right. This is 17. God, this song's probably 25 years old at this point. Sirens wail and a flashing light. Nothing better to do on a Tuesday night. much of you around here anymore. I guess it's just as well. Once upon a time you had it down, you let everybody down. You're always 17 in your hometown, running from your folks, running from the law, running from love, running from your fear, running from it all. You keep on running, boy, you run yourself in the ground. You're always 17 in your hometown. Her porch swings and looks the same. She probably won't even remember my name, just like she didn't back then. Is she married? Is she defined? Does she know about all those nights and I laid awake crying just to know her hand? The door opens and I run away, just like the same old clown. You're always 17 in your hometown, running from your books, running from the law, running from love, running from your fear, running from it all. You keep on running, boy, you run yourself in the ground. You're always 17 in your hometown. Nobody's gonna miss me. The tears are falling, the walls go away. When I hit that road, my boots are broken, my brain is sore from keeping up with that little world. I got a heavy load, I'm gonna leave them all just like before. Hey, I'm big city bound. You're always 17 in your hometown, running from your folks, running from the law, running from love, running from your fear, running from it all. You keep on running, boy, you run yourself in the ground. You're always 17. You're always 17. You're always 17 in your hometown.
Rattlesnakes.
Awesome. To everybody out there that listens to my music, I don't know if y'all just saw that, but Susie just sang harmonies with me.
Oh my gosh, and stumbled
What?
blindly, but
awesome.
was super fun. So yeah, we've had an opportunity to sing together a couple of times. just recently we were in Steamboat with
Yeah.
the whole gang. They're all the most wonderful songwriters and
Yeah.
just great
Great humans.
people. So much fun. I'm so glad to get included in that, and also, getting to come to the Braun Brothers
Yep.
reunion several times now. I don't even know how many anymore. That's
It's-
kind of a cool thing.
That's the one that I've always told Muzzy Braun at the world. Muzzy Braun is the dad of Mickey and the Motorcars Brauns and Reckless Kelly Brauns. And he,
Two brothers in each band.
Yeah.
I've explained it before, but just for those of you who are just tuning in.
my youngest boy, Willie, is named after Willie Braun from Reckless Kelly. But I told Muzzy years ago, I said, if we always have the contract on stage, like he'll bring us back for an encore, and then he'll stick his hand out and say, "You coming back?"
Oh, love
But I told
that.
him, I will always come back even if I get fired, and I will buy the ticket just because it is the best. There's something about the mountains anyway for me,
Yeah.
but I think it's because growing up in Oklahoma. But just being up there with all those awesome musicians, and just the Braun family, they took us in when we were a brand new band.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
I just love them. Hey, I would
Yeah,
do
they're
anything.
an extraordinary family, but what you're saying about the festival too is the people who come to the festival
Mm-hmm.
are some of the most conscientious festival goers I've ever seen in my
Mm-hmm.
whole life. And I've talked about this before, but I mean, they clean up after themselves.
Yes.
They're doing it on grounds that are public grounds, and they don't leave it a mess. They don't leave stuff, and I don't think they even leave divots. I think they put the grass back.
They take care of everything. And
It's amazing.
there's two stories that are very short, but my favorite
Doug, now you're the
Bring it on.
yeah.
my favorite explanation of Braun Brothers is Jason Eady was playing, and Rodney Crowell was sitting right in the middle of the crowd on a blanket, and everybody knew who he was, and nobody bothered him because he was engaged. And as soon as it was done, he turned to everybody and was like,
Yeah.
waved at everybody. Then everybody started talking to him, and everybody's
Yeah.
so respectful and just
This is well.
Love it.
I think the thing is that and I do think that this happens, with certain groups of people, is that you kind of get nurtured and cultivated into knowing what the vibe is here. And I've noticed that in certain things that I've done where it just seems like people know inherently that they're to act a particular way, and they just do it out because they're good people, and they just are thinking in terms of, we're all here, we all love music, and we're all just sharing this thing
Yeah.
together. There's nothing for me to grab out of this that nobody else can have.
Yeah.
We're all sharing this together, and I think that's just a lot of these things that we get to do. It's like that at Steamboat too. It's like
Yeah.
everybody's totally cool. You know?
Steamboat. I think this last year when we were up there was my 26th year. I still count the 2 years that I missed because of COVID. The 1 year it shut down, the next year my boy Dirks and I got go. Actually, Willie did too. The three boys, and Shannon never got it.
Good for you. You've never had it? Shannon's here, by the way.
Shannon's always here. I can't shake her. She chases me everywhere.
And the guys are here, and now that's so cool for me because my kid just moved back to Portland, Oregon. So it's nice to have some younger people in the house. I mean, you guys included.
We do everything as a family. Shannon and I both came
I
from.
think that's awesome.
We came from torn homes, which is why we are together, because we had a conversation on February the 13th, 1998, and then we had a date on the 14th, and then we married 5 months later,
Wow.
27 years ago. But we had that in common, that our parents, all went crazy or whatever they did, and we swore that we would keep it together. And so our boys go everywhere with us, and
That's awesome.
I was telling them today, if you don't mind, brag about what I'm doing today.
Yeah, because you've
Playing
been
in your house.
Yeah, well, oh, I was gonna say no. I would want you to tell everybody kind of what brought you into Nashville, because you're promoting some great stuff right
Yep.
now, and you had some kind of a. I mean, you've
It's a
been doing this
resurgence.
a while, and so I think you should. I don't want to tell you how you have to,
No, it's
you
a-
know, like do the, chronological of whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd love for you to tell them why your group
Is
in the
back. Mm-hmm.
beginning was, and why was it called Cross Canadian Ragweed?
So
It's such a great.
my last name is Canada. We've had people say, "Are you from Canada?" It's like, well, that would be a very bold thing to do. Is it's like,
My last name is America.
I know, right? But somebody said, "Why is your last name Canada?" I was like, "Well, my dad gave it to me." But my great grandfather's name was George Washington Canada, which is
That's pretty funny.
pretty crazy. And he's
Actually.
Native American.
Wow.
And, so Grady Cross, is the rhythm player for Ragweed. I'm still getting used to saying "is" instead of "was." And Randy Ragsdale is the drummer, and the original bass player who was there for it was a little under a year. I mean, this is when Randy was 16 years old, and
Unbelievable.
I was barely 18, and we did our first practice right like a week before my 18th birthday, and so his name was Wiedemann, and so we were sitting around talking about how are we going to do this, what are we naming the band, and I said I'm not going by my name, this is a band, and somebody said Ragweed, perfect, WIED. And the guy's like, no, that's stupid. Like, it's not stupid, it's your name. And then his dad said, Canadian Ragweed. And then, like, well, how about Cross? Since we're all here.
It's perfect. And it's such an interesting and easy thing to remember because it's so unique.
Yeah.
And it's valid. I mean, it's like legit because it all came from your guys'
Yeah,
names.
and
I just think it's really cool.
Matt didn't want to use his last name, and he wasn't there very long. And then Jeremy Plato came in, and Jeremy was nothing against anybody, like Matt or anybody that was auditioning at the time. Jeremy Plato and I have been friends since 6th grade.
Wow.
I've got 3 friends that I still talk to from grade school, and he's one of them. And I pretty much spend every weekend with him, and I have forever. And he married my wife's sister for a while, and we have 2 beautiful, a niece and a nephew. Stop it! I'm proud of my family. And so we got really busy with Ragweed and I'm not just saying this because she's sitting there, but we had a lockbox with $20 in it.
Wow.
And we turned over the business, which was the lockbox, to Shannon. And it's like, we want you to be our manager. And she opened up the box and it was $20. It's like, this is what you get to start with.
Oh, wow.
And the lockbox combination was my birthday. She's like, guys, you're doing this all wrong. It's like name, same password for the password, And so really, honestly, after that, I mean, when she took control, we got to be very creative
That's great.
and work differently than we had been. And before long, couple of years, I mean, we spent a good 5 years in the band. We had 3 bands, and we ran the wheels off all of them. And then Tuff Hedeman and Tim DuBois were the ones, and Radney Foster were the ones that.
Radney. Oh my gosh, I didn't know about
So
that.
Radney and Tuff called the same day. They called Tim and said, "There's a band out of Oklahoma you need to see." And then he showed up to a gig, and I was the kid with the cassette sleeve, reading who's who and who did what and all this. So I knew everybody,
Oh, I was back when we had full-size albums.
I knew you did.
I'm sorry you had to have such good sight.
It's not like that anymore. But yeah, I knew Tim, and I knew his Oklahoma ties, and I had no idea the songs that he wrote.
Yeah, he's
And then-
such a deep. He's a
Let's
deep
go
music
so
guy.
back. And I remember telling my dad that he wrote "She Got the Gold Mine," and And, you know, in a sense, we did make it. But my dad, I mean, it was like I was Elvis Presley now because Dad's like, he wrote what song? And, of course, my dad's my biggest cheerleader besides my wife and boys. And he was just so proud that I met Tim. And it's like, he goes, should you go out there knocking on doors? Like, I didn't. They called us, which was, I still hold that one pretty dear to my heart, that we were just happy with doing what we were doing. And they called and we said, yeah, as long as it's you and Tony. Because there was a couple other record labels that, well, I get to say it because what they gonna do? Fire me for the record label? MCA was courting us at the nicest restaurants in Fort Worth, and I had a few cocktails, and I started singing "Working for MCA" by Leonard Skinner, and that guy was looking at me, and he would talk a little louder, and I would sing a little louder, and he goes, "What are you singing?" He's like, "Working for MCA" by Leonard Skinner, and he goes, "Never heard of it." And I leaned over to Shannon, I was like, this is not our label.
This is not it.
This guy doesn't know what he's doing. So Tim and Tony picked us up, and we had a wonderful, wonderful time with those guys. And then they got removed, and they brought in a new regime, and it just didn't do very well for us. We were kind of pushed to the back. Not kind of. We were pushed to the back, and I walked in one day very adamant about we're not giving you the last record because we want out. And the new guy said, well, today's your opportunity to walk away if you want to. Before I had a chance to say anything, it's like, we're in it for the long haul, dude. It had to be my idea. It's like, I'm not quitting anything.
Yeah.
with every intention on I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
And we did one more record. That we did have a sixth one that we're supposed to do, but we all started having
those
kids.
records are really good. I mean, you had to just like pat yourself on the back.
Oh, I'm very proud.
However, however they came about, the records were really good. And
that
you
was
you made good music. You still make great music.
Thank you.
And I think, all of it, it's like we kind of learned as we were going along, but the fact that you knew to trust your gut, I mean, that's a gift, because
we would disappear.
That's the only reason that you get to keep doing this is when you trust your gut, you know that you can keep going and you can keep creating.
That instinct is there for a reason.
Yeah.
And we did things not how they wanted us to do it. Like they said it's time to make a record, so we disappeared. And we go off the grid. We go to California and make a record and come back and say, here's the bill. Like, well, that's not how we do it. It's like, you got a record, what else you want?
Yeah.
We didn't want anybody coming in and saying, well, what if you did this? Like,
That's
we
more
know
like
what
a
we're doing.
Tom Petty kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Like that's why I always liked his thing that, it's like, you can't, it's not a committee.
Yeah, right.
It's
not your music.
Yeah, exactly. You want
it's
us
ours.
to be the creators, and you want us to be the artists. So
it started to get a little tense because we all started having kids at the same time. The record label was pushing us to the back, and man, we were overworked. We were partying too much. Never anything crazy. We never drugged people or anything. Just it was a lot of Jägermeister and late nights and then
Jägermeister.
no, not anymore.
That's
I can't even do black licorice
That's the
anymore.
worst. That's the worst cough medicine I ever tasted.
I can't. So we had one argument, and then it was done. And
it was just probably
dumb.
all the stress and all.
It was.
I mean, and also just growing your families and everybody having other pressures that were outside of the band itself.
too many cooks.
Yeah, exactly.
And with us and outsiders too. It was
Yeah.
instead of just going, all right, let's lock the four of us or five. Usually with Shannon, it's like lock the five of us in the room and let us do us. Everybody leave us alone. And it just kind of boiled over. And my structure is, it takes me a long time to get over it because I always wanted to be a Pearl Jam. Where we were together forever from the get-go, and it just didn't happen. And I moved on pretty quick. And Jeremy and I did The Departed, 4 records.
That was a great unit too, man. I love listening to you guys.
Well,
I've done a lot of shows with you guys.
Yeah.
Because
And it's still fun, I still do it.
great.
It's a 3-piece band.
yeah.
We still do it. And then we lost Shannon's dad a few years ago. And then I kind of had an awakening. Like, we're losing folks. And so let's see what everybody's up to. And
So you instigated this revival.
I did.
Uh-huh.
Because I was tired of being, because there was anger. I was
Yeah.
a lot more sadness and anger, but I was just like, God, if we were a band now, that's what I kept thinking. If we were a band now, with how fast things move, we'd have been the biggest band in the world back, if we'd have had that technology.
Yeah.
But then it got to the point of, man, I just want to be friends again. And so the meeting happened with the agent and the other two guys, and we found that there was 10 years sobriety, and that was the green light.
Oh, that's great.
So it took one text message. Hey, buddy. Hey, brother. Okay, here we go.
Wow.
And we were back at it. And
That's so cool.
so we booked the one show and kept it a secret. We kept it a secret that we were getting back together, and we did a little tease on Facebook and stuff. It was our emblem covered in a red shroud. And all Shannon did was just reactivate the account, and people went crazy thinking something.
Wow. And then I don't want to bring up any soreness, but
No sore.
didn't
Nothing.
you just kind of play a few songs at Mile Zero
Yeah.
down in Key West?
And the 2%ers, get angry. Shannon laughs every time I say 2%ers are just, they're crazy to me. Like there's 98% of these people are so happy, and then
Yeah.
there was just a couple of people.
Yeah.
Why didn't
Just
we bought
irritated.
tickets to Stillwater? It's like, well, our friends, our peers, Jamie Lynn Wilson flew in for 18 hours to sing 17.
And Jamie Lynn's been here, you guys remember.
And she's
And
Wonderful.
doll and
Wonderful.
wonderful. We love
Jamie.
you. If you're watching, darling, we love you.
you better be watching.
There's a lot of people watching.
No good.
Okay,
And,
all right, all
and
right.
some of them have noticed, Susie, that you're holding a guitar.
Oh, God. Well,
You should play a song.
This is how Doug operates. He drops hints in his little subtle way. So, all right, we'll play.
You guys are a lot of
Play
like.
my Buddy Holly tune.
I'll play a little bit of lead.
It's like that would be awesome, my friend. And yeah, I mean, we could actually talk like for hours and hours, and we probably will.
They're loving the talking too, don't they?
Yeah, no, but we just want you to know that we came here to entertain you too. So not only are you getting information, but you're also going to get some probably scary yodeling that didn't mean to happen. This is what happens, and they know this because it's like. It's not the same as when you're on stage and you've got all the adrenaline and stuff. I'm sitting in my living room on a chair, which
Vulnerable.
I'm usually standing up and I have full air and everything. So I get on here, and that's my disclaimer. Here we go. Because Lubbock makes me think that that's not very close to Oklahoma, but kinda is in some parts. Never mind.
No, Western Oklahoma and Lubbock, Texas
they're
are
kind
a
of
lot alike.
they touch a little. So, so we're gonna do a little Buddy Holly song for them, and I'll just start. There you going, baby. Here am I. Well, you left me here so I could sit and cry. Golly gee, what have you done to me? Well, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. Do you remember, baby, last September, how you held me tight each and every night? Oh, baby, how you drove me crazy, but I guess it doesn't matter anymore. There's no use in me crying. I've done everything, and now I'm sick of trying. I've thrown away my nights, wasted all my days over you. Now you go your way and I'll go mine, now and forever till the end of time. And I'll find somebody new, and baby, we'll say we're through, and you won't matter anymore. a try, and I've thrown away my nights, wasted all my days over you. Now you go your way and I'll go mine, now and forever till the end of time. And I'll find somebody new, and baby, we'll say we're through, and you won't matter anymore. No, you won't matter anymore. You won't matter anymore. I'm getting weird here.
All right. I didn't want to touch that ending.
I know, it was too weird.
That's awesome.
Hey, so you told me that you have a brand new song that you're thinking about doing today.
Yes, brand new. I'm halfway through recording it. We did the drums.
Just the first half of the song?
Well, my vocals. There's a certain. I mean, you probably know all this. There's a certain part.
They don't know.
There's a certain season that I'm not my best at.
Me too.
I mean, when it's dry and when it's 80 degrees in New Braunfels, Texas one day, then the next week it's 45 degrees.
Yeah.
And so it's like, let's just stick to live performances. I don't want to embarrass myself. in the
Yeah,
studio.
yeah. Those come and go. Plus the adrenaline thing.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like
I did.
you have when you're trying to capture a performance in the studio. It's
Mm-hmm.
not always just like, oh, I know the song, I'm just gonna go in there and sing it.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be in there, and you've got to be in the right headspace, and you got to be, you know, everything's got to be working right. And you know,
Yep.
I've made records. I made one record in the Bahamas. I made one in San Francisco, and I did vocals down in Florida before because I have allergies,
Yeah.
and so certain times of the year, I am, you know, Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
It's just-
The cedar in Texas is.
Oh yeah, that's
I didn't.
true.
I didn't really know what it was, and we used to record at Lloyd Main's place, Cedar Creek, and we would do vocal days. Like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah, what happened?
And then I found out I was allergic to cedar. It's like Cedar Creek. Okay,
yeah,
that's it. But we did the drums, and the bass, the scratch guitar at home. We have a studio that we built during COVID, and then I went out with Whiskey Myers, acoustic, me and Wade Bowen. And Wade Bowen, if anybody out there
love Wade Bowen.
knows Wade, he's my brother-in-law. He married my wife's baby sister, and they've been married.
Y'all are tight.
We have a big musical family, and so I did this acoustic run with Wade and Whiskey, but we played all these really big, beautiful theaters. So I brought my Vox and my new orange rocker verb. We put them right on the edge of the stage after sound check, and the union guys are like, "What are y'all doing?" It's like, "Changing tubes. Don't worry about us. We're not actually working today." And we mic'd the room, so all the guitar tones come from those different theaters. So now,
Nice.
yeah, we try to do stuff like that.
That's
just,
really cool.
You know, we'll record the drums at the studio, and then it's like, well, where are we going this weekend? Oh, we're at Kane's. So let's do the vocals in the back room of Kane's, and let's do the guitar.
That's
under
why
the
you have to
stage.
read all that stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
I love
mean,
doing
that's
stuff
the
like
deal.
that. And so they're just waiting on the season to pass so I can. Get
Right.
And you know, we have a new single coming out with The Departed, and then all the Ragweed news coming up. I'm going to release some live Departed stuff and another couple of singles, and so we're busy, a good busy,
Yeah.
spaced out busy.
Well, where did this song come from?
That lady sitting right over there.
Oh.
Oh, she did this time. She used both fingers this time. And they were facing a different direction. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So
Just checking the wind.
So this was one of our arguments that I'm very happy was quickly resolved. But also, you know, we're talking earlier about getting to the point in life where it's just like nothing's really that big a deal. You know, and we're talking about the say goodnight, say good morning, kiss goodnight, kiss good morning. And this is my ode to that, I guess. So it's called Paper Moon. edge of a freak out. I'm screaming down the hall, trying not to speak out on the edge of it all. Communication breakdown will be the end of us yet. Being alone in this place without seeing your face, it scares me to death. And the night is falling heavy as a stone. It's bringing me further down than I've ever known. And when the morning comes and the light fills up our room, it's all behind us just like the paper moon, like the paper moon. Hey, I can see right through this. Sometimes I don't, but when we get down to it, either we will or we won't. Stumbling through the twilight, and now here we are. We're either darker than midnight or brighter than a star. Down than I've ever known. And when the morning comes and the light fills up our room, it's all behind us just like a paper moon, like a paper moon. It's bringing me further down than I've ever known. And when the morning comes and the light fills up our room, it's all behind us just like a paper moon, like a paper moon.
That is so great.
Well, thank you.
I love that. I love everything about it. I love the chord changes and
Thank
the
you.
words are just like, that's really cool.
Well, thank you.
It's just super cool. I love it. I
The
really
li-
do. I think it's going to be a smash. If-
The live version is the guitar solo is about as long as the rest of the song.
Wow.
We,
So, like,
we stretch it.
have your folks, some other parts of your fan base and everything heard this song yet?
Yeah, I've been playing it.
So great.
I've been playing it, but we just our drummer lives in Oklahoma, which is probably 8 hours from us in New Braunfels. So, you know, we didn't jump on it and record it. And you know,
Right.
I'm not doing records right now until the right thing happens, but just doing singles. But people have been, you know, I heard Joan Jett say something a very long time ago. She said, make love to that song for a year
That's a great way to put it.
and then record it.
Yeah.
She said, because they're all going to change, especially if you love the song.
Yeah.
It's going to change. And so now it's exactly where I want it.
That's awesome.
It's a big
yeah.
Neil Young kind of stretch out.
It takes time, doesn't it? I mean, I've had times when I've worked up something with, the band, and then I get to know it really well, and then I go in the studio, and then it's not the same when I come back to play it live again, and you have to, it's like almost a different song, so you kind of have
It
to.
is. And I feel like when you first, I've been in such a hurry most of my career to get a song out, and I'm not saying it's their fault, or maybe. When Universal
Completely.
when you define people at Universal South, we're always,
Yeah.
we need a record in 16 months. It's like, I don't operate like that. I just
Yeah.
finished this, and also,
And not everybody can work in that configuration.
it almost ruined me because I don't write like I used to. And another thing too, I say a lot of people's names just because I'm so fortunate to know such awesome people in this business. Ray Wiley Hubbard took me in when I was very young, and he said, write when the iron's hot when you're young, because the older you get, the more things you're going to be doing with your life. You're going to be chasing kids. You're going to be taking vacations. and you're
That's
not,
so true.
And
And not
I've
only
so-
that, you're on the road all the time. And even if you have the energy or you get an idea when you're out on the road, you are working in different time segments. You know what I mean? And sometimes I find that even though you can get something done, I mean, Doug and I used to write during nap time a lot. Not ours. Nowadays, it would be our nap time.
I kind
But
of
during
figured.
Ben's nap,
Yeah, I figured
nap
that's where you
time,
were
we used
going
to
with
write during that time. But yeah, yeah. Do you know the old Mac McAnally thing about where he said that that a lot of times he gets a good idea for a song when he's taking a nap, and so he says, "My wife sees me on the couch just sleeping, and she doesn't know whether I'm working or not." So, it's a possibility. So.
But it did kind of ruin me, because I remember one trip out here, we had just released a record, and our wives were pregnant. There was 3 wives pregnant at the same time. 2 of those kids were born in the same week.
Wow.
And Dirk's our oldest boy. He was born a month after.
You must have had the same week off or something.
Well, we used to do this thing called the Ragweed Cruise. And Wade and Shelby had their kids at the same time too, because we all did the cruise together.
On the cruise.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
But you can use your imagination then. But we came to this meeting, and the gentleman and I still call him a gentleman because he's still my buddy. But he said, "Well, I want to talk to you about." I was like, "Don't do it. Don't give me a timeline, because if you do that, I'm screwed."
Yeah.
And
yeah,
he said,
'cause
"Well,
it works on your brain,
it
It's
was
like,
October 4th. We'd like to have a record of this year." I was like, "Dude." So we went into the studio with 2 songs, and we were just sitting there writing, and which is, in the end, it turned out awesome. And it was my favorite record that we did. And Tony Brown said, "We knew what we were doing. We know that you work good under pressure." It's like, "Have you been talking to my wife? Because she says that all the time."
Oh.
And he had been. But the thing is that pressure got to the point where after that record, we did one more, which is very relaxed, and that was our Leanne Womack record. She sang on a whole bunch of those songs. And then
she's so good.
she's awesome.
She's an awesome person.
She did a few songs on that one, which was the Mission California record. And then after that, we got busy, and the creative thing started kind of being rocky. And
Yeah.
and I do.
It's not. I mean,
I blame the
people. I
pressure.
think these folks are. They started with me during the big lockdown, and they know, that we got really creative during that time because we didn't have any of the other pressures of logistics of travel and all the other stuff that comes into play, and just how is this going to work and how do we get there and all this stuff. And it, you know, we ended up doing a cookbook, ladies and gentlemen, and a new record during that time. And it was the first time that I'd ever written on every single song on a record.
Awesome.
Because I was, you know,
Yeah, tell me.
having to go get my hair colored and nails done and stuff, all that big stuff.
Hey, you know, I'm gonna say we got people in time zones all over the world, and so
Oh, and some of them are tired.
some of them are going to bed.
Okay.
We probably need to.
All right, let's do
Everybody plug what
let's
we
do
gotta
it.
plug.
Is that
Let's
my
do
sister
a-
going to bed? Marty, are you going to bed? Is it time for your
We have
night?
a lot of UK folks, and we have a
Oh,
real
awesome.
a good buddy out in Norway, and so you know those guys they stay up till midnight to tune into this
that's
stuff.
awesome.
So I understand that, but that can catch up tomorrow too. But I will just give out my my few dates that are coming up. So so I am going to be in Elizabethtown, Kentucky this week, which is only a couple hours from here. And then I'll be in Benton, Kentucky on Saturday. So Friday night in Elizabethtown, Saturday in Benton at the Kentucky Opry. And then I'm going out to Logan, Utah, and I get to be with the cowboy poetry people out there. I can't wait to see my buddy Andy Nelson out there. And then I will be down in Texas again. I'll be in Abilene at the Paramount Theater in like the third week of March. And then Arlington, Texas at the music hall there. And then my first time at the Orange Grove, Texas, the Post, the OG. So that's going to be a lot of fun for me. I'm looking forward to it. And then I'll be at Sun City.
Georgetown.
Do you play that? Have you played that?
No, but I know it. I know
Yeah.
it.
So, anybody who can come out and see us. Where are you playing next?
I have Stable Hall in San Antonio. That's basically where I live, San Antonio. To the folks that don't know Texas that well.
It's close by.
Yeah, it's 25 minutes from the house. I do that, and then Billy Bob's the next weekend, and
Oh,
then
I'm gonna go back to Billy Bob's. I love Billy
my
Bob's.
wife's giving me this. That means I swapped it.
Oh,
In the next few weeks, I'll be in Kansas City at Knucklehead's Kane's Ballroom, in Tulsa, which is my favorite home, Billy Bob's, and then April 10, 11, 12, 13, we sold 183,000 tickets. And
This
we're
is
playing the
Bra-
Boone Pickett Stadium.
this is with his band that he's, reuniting with after 15 years.
15-year hiatus.
Can you imagine? So that's how in demand these guys are. So
It's pretty crazy.
It's gonna be so great.
Then we sold yesterday. Waco, Texas went on sale, and it's going to be Wade, Bowen, American Aquarium, Shane Smith and Saints, Turnpike Troubadours, and Ragweed. Those went on sale yesterday, and as of right now, we got about 28,000 sold, and the rest of the tickets go on sale for that Friday. Oh, I did it.
Was that like a membership thing, or
It was
how
like a
did-
pre-sale code kind of thing.
Oh, I think. I
And
see.
they were releasing like tickets 500 at a time, and
I mean, if anybody is like trying to get out of the cold for just a wee bit, just think about going down there because it's going to be a heck of a show. I love every single one of those bands, and how cool to get to see.
it's pretty awesome. I'm very, very grateful that we're grown up people that we got our act together.
And
Brady-
not every band can do that and
No.
still and like put things back out of the way and love each other again.
and it
'cause-
is a love fest,
Yeah.
And my kids are in a band called Waves in April, and Grady, the guitar player for Ragweed, his son is in a band called Smoking Oaks, and we're taking them with us everywhere we go.
That's so cool.
and it feels good. In the words of Robert, it feels good, feeling good again.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I know they want you to go out on a song here, so would
Okay.
you? I pulled this one out because I know that he sings this song, and it's one of my favorites ever in the whole wide world. And I'm gonna try to pick along a little bit, but
Okay.
I'm hoping I can sing some harmony with you.
So we saw the Blaze movie several years ago, the Blaze Foley movie, and as we walked out, well, first of all, we saw Charlie Sexton, our friend from Austin, who, you know, a lot of people know him, but to the folks that don't, you know, he's on the road with a guy named Bob Dylan.
Some guy.
Sold a few records. So we saw him in the movie, and then we realized that he was playing Towns. And Charlie he helped my oldest boy Dirks out a lot with his stage confidence. Just in Steamboat, he's just like, go. You know, he just pushed him, like, you can play, so go. And we walked out of there with both of my kids in love with Towns Van Zandt music, which is a fatherly medal that I carry proudly on my chest.
Us too, and we didn't even turn ours on to him.
You just found it?
He found it.
God, it's awesome.
And then we were like, what? How did you get so cool around us?
Well,
I mean,
yeah, they
it
might
wasn't,
have helped that out.
It was, you know, we were listening to it on our own, you know, and you know, for many years, but he totally found it and thought and tried to turn us onto it, and we're like,
that's
yeah,
great.
we kind of know.
I would like to say thank you so much and toast you if you don't mind.
Thank you, sweetie. I'm so glad you guys could finally make it here.
My inner child, my 13-year-old Oklahoma kid is freaking out internally that I get to do this. But
well, I'm kind of trying not to rain on your song.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And all the people that I said I wasn't drinking, come on, guys, I'm in Susie's house.
I mean, he had to.
It's Wine Down Wednesday.
Wine
That's
Down
why
Wednesday for Pete's sake.
It's for our heart, guys.
Yes, it's good. Like my grandpa said, it's for your red blood cells.
It is. And your white ones, and your rosé ones.
Oh wait, that needs to be in a song, man. I'm telling you, that's gonna be in a song. All right, here we go.
Living on the road, my friend, gonna keep you free and clean. Now you wear your skin like iron, breath as hard as kerosene. Want your mama's only boy, but her favorite one it seems. She began to cry when he said goodbye. Sank into your dream. Poncho was a bandit boy. His horse was fast as polished steel. He wore his gun outside his pants for all the honest world to feel. But Poncho met his match, you know. The desert's down in Mexico. It's a yodel. Nobody heard his dying words. That's the way it goes. All the federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him go so long. Out of kindness, I suppose. Lefty can't sing the blues all night long like he used to. That's the Poncho bit down south, ended up in Lefty's mouth. The day they let poor Poncho low, Lefty split for Ohio, where we got the bread to go. Ain't nobody knows. All the federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him go so long. Out of kindness, I suppose. Poets tell how Poncho fell. Lefty's living in a cheap motel. The desert's quiet, Cleveland's cold. So the story ends retold. And Poncho needs your prayers, it's true. Save a few for Lefty too. He only did what he had to do. now he's growing old. All the federalists say they could have had him any day. They only let him go so long. Out of kindness, I suppose. A few grave rallies say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away. Out of kindness, I suppose. Thank you. There's a little rough around the edges, but I don't care.
Well, it was the dust that Poncho bit down
That's what it
south.
was. That's what it was.
Ended up in Cody's mouth.
I'm going to be back in Nashville in, is it August for the Ryman? September, Jamie Lynn
Awesome.
and Reckless Kelly. So
Oh
if
my
you're- if
gosh.
not putting you on the spot in front of all your people, but if you're around, will you come sing with me?
Yes, absolutely. Will totally. And hopefully we're here.
I
Yeah.
hope so, yeah.
Would that
If you're
be
around,
so
I'd love to have you.
fun? I would love that you guys are
You
playing
would make
there.
me so much cooler to all those people.
It's, you know what? No, that's not true. But let me tell you, it is, that place is so magical.
It is.
I'm so glad you're playing there.
Played there last February, and it really was kind of the springboard for the Ragweed thing because everybody in that room sang every single song.
I did.
And I
That's
thought-
what I'm saying. It's like
I didn't know.
they're there.
Yeah.
You know, they're
I didn't know they
there.
knew all the words to all the songs. We only did one song that wasn't ours, and it was Jamie Lynn and Jeremy doing an old Paycheck song, and the rest were my old songs, and everybody sang them, and that.
That's so great. Well, you know that people continue to follow you, but when you know how this is because you were there too. You know what it feels like. But when you learn about a particular artist or whatever, and you fall in love with their music, and you're at a vulnerable stage in your life, you know, especially if you're in your younger parts of your life, those songs are still, even if you follow the artist forever and ever and ever to see what else they're doing and they're evolving and everything, you still have that, it still lives inside of you like you are still that age when
Yeah.
you go to hear that stuff. So it's just, you know, pours out and it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that myself.
I do too. It makes people feel like, you know, when they fell in love, or when they finally got rid of that toxic situation, or when they met somebody, or when they had their kids, or they were moving, or whatever, you know.
Or when they winked at that guy across the bar and found out that he was married to their best friend, and that was, oh, that never happened. Don't you worry.
Oh, sorry, we're off the air.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, everybody. No, I didn't. I knew no one before Doug. Thank goodness he was the first person I ever met, ever in my whole life.
Me too.
All right, wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, Cody Canada, and you guys need to listen to all of his music if you haven't been forever. I know some of you have. And please don't forget to share this so that everybody else is knowing what's going on here, because a lot of people are going to want to get some of those Waco tickets that are left over. And, you know, I mean, for the rest of it, I don't know. Are there any tickets left at all for the other stuff?
Stillwater sold out 4 days in. The first show was sold out in a couple of hours.
You
and then
guys could be the ones that push it on to 5-day shows.
It would be nice. It would be nice if you sold so many tickets in Waco, we get to do a second night. That would be great.
That would be really cool.
But I'll take what I can get.
All right. So anyway, so don't forget, it's still cold.
Thank
Cody
you.
Canada,
Thank you.
thank you for coming. I'm so awesome, and your kids are awesome, and your
Thank you.
lovely wife Shannon.
Thank you, Doug.
Fantastic.
Appreciate it, buddy.
So